Alrighty, team, welcome back. Welcome back. It's a new day, it's a new way, it's a new light, it's a new might. Tapping into our strength. Hmm, tap, tap. Okay, I don't know what that's about. But yeah, you know what? Whenever I say things a certain way, I just feel like there's always some kind of energy trying to come through. But as always, I'm just gonna leave it in here. And yeah, let's proceed. Welcome to the Daily Spread on Roots Holistic. I am your host, G3E, the one and only. Hey, you know what he do, gang. We about to tap in one more time. And as always, thank you, God. Thank you, angels. Thank you, guardians. Thank you, ancestors. Please protect this message. What we got for the collective. Yeah, today, two cards coming out. Today I was led to a different deck. This deck was just calling me. I was just like looking at it and it's like, come here, come here. So two cards again. Two cards are coming out like 2 by 2. Wow. Okay. Looks like we are looking at two opposing energies or forces actually. And it's interesting because all these cards are in the reverse. Spirit's telling me to stop right here. Okay, let's see. Interesting. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. So, just to start, at the back of the deck, we've got the mind. This is definitely giving Page of Swords kind of an energy. I'm using the Osho Tarot deck, by the way, for the guys who are checking out the image. But of course, this is also in a podcast format, so you can listen. But yeah, I'll guide you through the image. The next card we have, or the cards that I've pulled out, like I mentioned, two came out at a time, and I was later pulling two. So here we are. The first two, it's trust in the reverse, as well as sorrow in the reverse. And then on the other side, we have awareness in the reverse, as well as we are the world in reverse. So with all the cards being in reverse, I'm definitely getting like an upset. I don't mean an upset in the sense that actually it could be. I think, this collective is huge. But it's like it could be an upset, somebody's actually been upset. But I'm thinking about an upset like in the sense of like sports, it's like the not the result that was expected. So it feels like things are shaking or are being like there's an upheaval. So it's like it's being put up and then set in a different place or different environment. I'm actually thinking right now, there's definitely a card that's in the center of this that's actually dividing these two sets of two. Already, of course, the number 2 is coming through. Spirit's like, okay, you got it already. And in between, the card that's dividing all of this is the dream. And the dream is also in reverse. Yo. Before I started this reading, I felt like this was about to get deep. So, Spirit, thank you for choosing me to deliver this message. And I don't know where this is gonna go, but okay, let's go. Let's go. It's something that is so interesting. I was listening to a YouTube video earlier today, and this lady was speaking about how, as messengers, we should not be afraid of delivering the message. And I think oftentimes, we worry or concern ourselves about how people are going to receive the messages that we give, as well as, how it might make them feel, how it might make us even appear to them. But, I'm just at a place personally, and I'm going to share this about myself. I believe, examples and stories are always good, before we tap in. But I've gotten to a point where I've understood the freedom that comes with not being concerned about how I'm perceived. And it's so freeing, it's so liberating, because you are in a place where you leave others to interpret you or perceive you in the way that they know how, and people will only experience you or perceive you from their frame of reference. I was just seeing 456 on the timer, then 457. So, as I'm looking at that, it's almost like where people might see you a certain way, they'll easily then just see you a different way. It's like, I think people are trying to, I'm getting an energy of people trying to box you in or trying to figure you out. And in them trying to do exactly that, they are realizing things or seeing things about themselves. Right now, I'm just being called to go to the cards now. So, with this first card that says the mind here, it shows somebody who's pretty much like overthinking. It looks like their head is fuming. I'm also getting something about an awakening of sorts, and it's an image of a woman, but looks like there's so many things going on in her head, and with her mouth open, it looks like her jaw's been dropped, like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? But I just get like a plague of thoughts, and I'm even seeing in Dragon Ball Z how Majin Buu, before the transformation, would have like, those steaming ears, and you're just seeing him like boiling up and stuff. So even Majin Buu in that image was quite frustrated. I think someone is being riled up, being upset by the upset. It's coming through in two different ways right now. Behind the mind, we have the slowing down, but it's in reverse. So I think this is actually picking up. I think that, I'm looking at this turtle, and there's that story about the turtle and the hare, or the turtle and the rabbit. And it's like this rabbit, sorry, this turtle is actually like almost speeding past the rabbit. It's actually like, yeah, again, speeding up, increasing or gaining momentum, and it's almost like it's coming through unexpected. It's like they never expected you to be the one to cause this awakening, or inspire these crazy thoughts that are going on within their head. And it's like they're trying to figure it out. It's like they're trying to piece things together. It's like they're trying to piece a puzzle together. And that's also what it looks like here in the image of the mind. But I also get the sense that, it's like they didn't see you as like a big player. They looked at you as like kind of like the underdog. But then you just showed up, and you came up with like, all these colors, all these, different spectrums, all these different aspects of you that they didn't even expect or see. And again, I think that's why they were, trying to figure you out, through this observation. Yesterday, we were also getting something about how there might be a lot of eyes on you at this time. So of course, people are analyzing, they're trying to dissect this thing. It's almost like being in a lab and, picking apart some cadavers and stuff. But yeah, that's just coming through. I think that actually might relate to someone. Someone might be a doctor, or someone might be a scientist or something. Or you're like super into science, I don't know. But again, large collective. And as always, please guys, these are collective readings. Please take what resonates and leave the rest, yeah? But yeah, let's go in. So with this first two cards, again, trust in reverse, sorrow in reverse. I'm getting something again about the upset. It's like someone's foundation has been shaken up. It's like they were so certain about, a particular environment that, they were gonna, maybe for example, when you do a trust fall and you just have faith that something's gonna catch you. And this structure or relationship connection that they had faith in or trust within has been removed, and now they're starting to question it. It's like, is there really enough for them to put, oh, sorry, confirmation burp, to put their faith and hope into it? But I think, oh, again, goodness, so goes. On the other side of this, I think they are actually seeing this in a sense, or maybe this is what the energy is developing into. It's almost like a blessing in disguise, because the sorrow here represents the 9 of swords. And if it's in reverse, then this person is actually, again, going through an awakening, some kind of realization that actually I've been holding on to certain ways of thinking more than anything. Betting my bets on certain like scenarios or energies being in certain positions or playing out in a certain way. And honestly, it's like whatever hope and trust that they had in, maybe even in you being predictable. They're trying to, again, put you in a box or trying to figure you out. And it's like, because they can't figure you out, because again, with the colors and the spectrum, it's like you're a chameleon. You adjust to the environments that you're in, but then because you keep changing so much, you keep leveling up so much, it's like, okay, who is this person? And it's almost like now they're feeling this energy of questioning themselves, and it's leading to some kind of release. I was even getting something about like a Kundalini awakening as well. So I think there's different types of revelations or awakenings taking place. You might also be in a place where you've now been brought to this truth of like, actually, I don't care how people perceive me. And a lot of the times while we make certain decisions within ourselves, it even like is emitted within our aura. So it's like you've given off this energy that, you know what, maybe you can't trust me. And maybe these people were trying to pin something on you, or again, trying to establish some kind of structure around you. But with this upset, with this rug being pulled under them, they're actually realizing that, okay, I need to find a new way of actually approaching this. I need to find a new way of understanding, dissecting this information and trying to piece it together. Again, I'm getting that puzzled. Yeah, you've left someone puzzled ultimately. As I'm looking more at the sorrow card, it's like they can't believe how you've responded or showed up in a certain situation. It's almost like they, again, were expecting you to show up as the color blue, and then you showed up as red. They were expecting you to show as black, and then you showed up as white. And with them, time and time again, trying to figure you out, it's like, okay, what is this person's behavior, which is you, the collective, actually teaching me about me? I'm actually now being shifted to see it from the other person's perspective. It's like, why does this person have to intrigue me so much? Why does this person have to show me that the things that I've placed bets on are not actually as true? So it's like somebody's really questioning even their existence. Like, I've lived life for this long, and does it really mean anything? Just look at the collective. Look at them beaming, gleaming, glowing, showing up and showing out. And am I honing in on what is good for me? So it looks like, you're definitely leading them to asking the right questions within themselves. But I'm very much interested in seeing if, they are actually gonna approach you. Let me actually use a different deck this time. Let's knock knock. 5 of Cups. Now, this person is definitely still like, in a mode of like reviewing the situation. I definitely sense some kind of grief. They are in an emotional state or place right now. And I think they are still looking at what is going wrong versus rather seeing what is going right. It's like they don't see what's bright. They don't see the light. It's like, even with me rhyming those words, it's like they are trying to look for, something on the silver lining, something on, to try and make sense of it, trying to put it into an order. Because if it was going to rhyme, then it's like, oh, okay, I can actually expect this type of word or this type of tone, frequency. So again, it's you having changed your frequency, your vibration. That's like, okay, who is this person? And again, because they're trying to match your frequency or your vibration, and it's so challenging for them to do so, it's definitely leading them to either raise their vibration, but to do that, they kind of realizing that they are, burdened in a sense and needing to let things go. And this is all coming off of me looking at the 5 of Cups. It's like this cup that's glowing is behind this lady, and there's 4 cups, facing downwards. So I think there actually could have been 4 different situations. Like, okay, in this situation 1, they're definitely gonna be this color. In situation 2, they're definitely going to be this color. So again, it's like, even colors are energies, frequencies, so it's like they were trying to kind of box you into, you're either one of these 4 personality types. I'm definitely getting, what is it? INFJ, INTP. I don't know what those personality types are, but because all of those personality types are like 4 letters, I'm kind of getting that right now. But you might be an INFJ. I'm not sure what those characteristics are, but it just gives me someone that's like kind of outgoing and again hard to figure out, hard to put into a box. It's coming through as like a chameleon type of an energy. So that's just what has come through with that. It's very startling, unnerving in a sense. At the back of the third eye tarot deck, I'm seeing the Chariot in reverse, and that's like things coming to a stop. So it looks like whatever has occurred in this situation has paused everything, and it's now a time to like stop, pause, relax. It's like this path or this journey was impeded in some shape or form, but again, it's like saying that, can this light be evaluated? Even as I'm looking at how the image is on this chariot in reverse, there's a lady who's taking a shot with a bow and arrow, and the light is on her. So it's like, there's this questioning of, why is this light not on me? Why am I not like you, the collective? Why am I not shining as bright as that? And I think there's like some truth that they're avoiding, or an aspect or a part of themselves that actually just might be awakened right now. I'm being called to look at the candle that I'm burning, and while it is a still flame, I'm just thinking about the name of the candle, which is pomegranate and coconut. So it's like speaking to the fruits. So these are fruits that you have to open up. These are fruits that you have to go within to carve out the fruit within. So it's like this person is being prompted to take the journey within, which is what we're doing here on Roots Holistic. I'm even thinking now, if this person was like a cross watcher, they are being led to now inspect themselves, like, actually, what are those parts within myself that I need to like work on or unearth, that's being upset, so that I too can enjoy the fruits of my labor? Or what are the fruits within me? Have they, yo guys, just excuse me as I switch between you, the collective, and this other energy. It's definitely coming through like that, like his and her, this and that. There's two opposing sides here, and they like, these energies are trying to, I don't know, it's like they trying to work in tandem, but then there's still this kind of steel on steel, like sharpening, knocking. I'm even like hitting my knuckles together right now. But yeah, it's like, steel sharpening steel. And this person is like, okay, if they're gonna have you in their life, they are recognizing that they are going to actually have to, go within and be sharpened. Because, as we go through growth, as we go through, dark night of the souls, these awakenings as well, we need to be willing to do the work. And it's something that I was actually telling my cousin. My cousin was asking me for a reading, and I was like, listen, I'm happy to give you a reading, but the greatest value that you'll get out of the reading is if you're willing to take those insights and apply them. Because I think oftentimes people are faced with the truth and then they turn away from it, just like I'm seeing here in the Five of Cups. So if you are willing to see that, we are different people, we all have different gifts, then you can recognize those areas of you that are laying dormant and revive them, or sometimes even release them, so that you can change your direction, change your directory. And it doesn't have to be something that's like staying in the mind the whole time. You can actually like start to lay your foundation. It's interesting. Now I'm looking at this mind card again, and I'm seeing that as much as there's this fuming in the head, and these puzzles in the head, in the mind, from the neck down, it looks like a structure. It looks like a wooden wall, and it looks like pallets that were taken apart and now are being placed into different positions. I think this person definitely withholds a lot, but then for me to see that, I'm thinking about a foundation, and that's the foundation I believe that we were speaking to earlier, that there was an upset of sorts. So it's like this foundation, whatever they were betting on, has now risen up. It's being unearthed, and it's now for them to face or to see. Wow. Wow, Spirit. We're cooking up. We're cooking up, huh? We're clocking at 2. Wow. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm getting something about somebody's neck as well. My neck just clicked, and of course, with this card, being the mind, the foundation between the puzzle, and I mean that's where the neck is. So yeah, something about that. Yeah, this clear sentience is just kicking in for a minute there. But yeah, let's move on the other side, we have awareness in reverse, and we also have we are the world. So with this awareness card, I'm looking at how in this image there's a person emerging from within another image of a person who's kind of like shielding themselves or protecting themselves. It's like a shadow. And here I was speaking about doing shadow work, ego unaliving. Oh goodness, what did I say? But yes, taking that journey within. I'm not sure exactly what I said, but I was thinking about that. Awakenings, ego unaliving, shadow work, and willing to do the work. So it looks like this person, their awareness has peaked, and I'm also seeing the flame here. I'm thinking about a blue flame. The blue flame, of course, speaks to an invitation to integrate. And it also, if I'm thinking about a blue flame, it's hotter than the red flame. So things are definitely heating up. But with this card being in reverse, it's almost like this person is on the edge of, perhaps this awakening, and it's like they a bit hesitant. It's like they see it but then they don't want to see it. It's like there's an avoidance to this energy, and I'm also getting that energy again coming from the Five of Cups on the left two cards, right? And it's like um this person has been given like multiple opportunities to see these different aspects or parts of themselves. But with you being in this situation, you being in their life, ultimately, you've presented a truth that now it's like it's so big, it's so in their face that they cannot do anything about it. I'm being drawn to the number 7 on this card. I'm thinking 7, 11, heaven, again with the rhyming. And it's like, things are going up quickly, from like 7 to 11. I'm also thinking about the shop being open, like, 24 hours, like 7-Eleven. I don't even think we have those shops anymore. But it's like they also had opportunities that they could have faced, but or integrated or worked with, but they're not even around anymore. It's like you getting a last chance to be shown this aspect of yourself or this part of yourself before, it's actually like, removed or completely closed off. And with this person emerging from the blue flame, it's like they are being called to get into like stillness, into meditation, to actually see these aspects of the shadow that they have been avoiding or have avoided. And why I'm also getting that avoided, it's because it's like this person has been cloaked in a sense. It's like by their own perception or idea of how life is or how things should be. Whoa. Okay, Spirit, come through again with one more card. Okay, but before we do that, We Are the World is in reverse, and I'm taking this as the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. It's like, what, this person realizes that they've built on a messed up foundation. This foundation was not as solid. And again, with all the colors of the people in this card, it's like everyone's holding hands and they are around this world or this globe. And with the spectrums, the colors, the different energies, it's like they are now realizing that they need to integrate, but then it's also how do they integrate. I definitely get a questioning, an inspection, a deliberation. And it's all about their abundance. It's all about how they live their life. It's all about how they can even join up with other people. And they like, do I have to be like the collective? Do I have to keep changing colors, changing frequencies? But then it's like they're not seeing what's within them, that they have their own gift. So I'm getting something about, a mimicking, a copying type of an energy as well. So I think there might be somebody who's trying to like, steal your moves, steal your mannerisms, your routine, and they actually want to learn from you, but then they have so much pride, they have so much false courage, but again, they have courage, but then it's being misdirected, or directed into other avenues or channels that are not necessarily leading them to anything. Because now with this we are the world in reverse, the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, it's like I'm not at the place that I want to be at, but when I look at the collective, I actually see them as like, being the kind of person that I would like to be or resonate with. So it's almost like they really want to learn from you, but they're only learning from you from observation, but their pride is stopping them from like taking that step further to actually engage with you. If you are maybe one of the people in my life, it's like somebody wants a reading from me and they are yet to ask me, to actually assist them with the reading. So if you have found this and you are looking for assistance, please drop a comment. You know what, I'm even being led right now to just put my email in the description of this reading. Just hit me up if you don't want to comment. But if you do need assistance, you know what, let me talk to you. And I'm not saying that you are the person in this reading, but it's just leading me to say that, you know what, there are a lot of people who need guidance, who need to know that we are the world, that we come together and we can teach each other, we can help each other grow and expand and evolve. So if you are definitely seeking, to take that journey within, hit me up, and I can bring some illumination to you. I'm even dreaming. What? Okay, there's something about a dream. Oh yes, that's the card that we have in the middle. That's like crossing this thing, the center of the reading. But before I get to the dream, I was just looking at this card and looking at the galaxy. And there's a galaxy within us, there's a galaxy outside of us. We are infinite beings. And I would love to teach more people about how to be more infinite, by sharing more teachings and connecting with the divine. I think that's going to be very important. Okay, let's go to the dream. Spirit's calling me to that. So with this dream card, I think with it being in the center of the reading, and why I've even kind of like drawn it out, it's like there's a extraction of this dream. This dream is being unearthed, it's being pulled out of them. It's like, is this really the life that you want to live? Is this really what you have been trying to manifest? And your presence in their life has ultimately put them in this questioning state of mind, and it would be so like unfortunate for someone to be given an opportunity to awaken, but then not actually take it because they are missing the tools to harbor this energy, to direct this energy. And sometimes you have good ideas, but then your thoughts, the container of these ideas, it's trash. So you need to kind of take a step back, and evaluate not just your thoughts, but your feelings, your behaviors. I'm thinking about a reading I did a few readings ago about the Miriam, and I was speaking to the same thing about how, if we can take the time to really evaluate that, then we are in a better position to make changes. And changes take time. It's something that's constructive. It's something that's going to build. But yeah, as I look back at this dream card again, with the dream being in reverse, this person has definitely realized that this is not something that they want to manifest, and you are a vision or an idea of something that they could have become had they made different choices. I'm also getting something about how this could be a person of the opposite sex, or someone who looks at you as even like a possible ideal partner. And they are now questioning themselves, like, if this person's even interested in you, and they perhaps are not even admitting it to themselves, they thinking like, wow, I am living my life with my current partner, whereas look at the collective, look at you being so great, looking so bright. Why didn't I wait? Why didn't I work on myself so that I could attract or align with a frequency like the collective, just like you? So at the same time, it's like, can I still dream? They are questioning their hope, their ability to manifest their desires. And again, it's like, with me seeing the sword between these two people in the card, it's almost like whatever idea that they had has been cut up. It's been, torn up, And with this dream, it's coming through as like the six of what? Six of Cups. And I'm getting something about their past. This person's definitely holding on to lingering experiences, feelings, emotions. And, as I'm seeing it in reverse and what's coming through right now, is that it's a reminder that, our emotions are things of the past. If you think about it, when you think about any emotion, love, hate, anger, joy, you always linking it to something that has occurred previously, you know um, and that's how our minds are almost like programmed. In fact, that's how they are programmed. But then you need to now, as part of manifestation, which is something I've learned as well, is that when we are now analyzing, how we think, our thoughts, even our feelings and our behaviors, we get to a point where we program our minds to look ahead and not necessarily on the past feelings, the past emotions. Instead, you are now focusing on how it's going to feel when you have embodied the version of yourself that you are seeking to become. So, a manifestation technique I can share with you is to say, you wake up in the morning and you've just had a dream, just like this card, and you are now envisioning yourself living the dream. And because now this is all in your mind, you can now take it a step further to say, how does it actually feel like when I'm living that dream? And when you are envisioning yourself feeling this this higher self or this version of you in that dream, you realize that there are certain behaviors that that version of you is doing that perhaps the current version of you is still working towards or not doing at this time. And then that's where you are now able to evaluate constructively versus associating yourself to what you see or past thoughts, past behaviors. Again, I'm looking at the Five of Cups, where I'm getting like a trial and error type of an energy, different attempts to not only figure things out for themselves, but now it's being brought to the forefront to say, are you willing to change direction and see things from a different light, different perspective? Okay, Spirit says now is the time for the next card. All right, let's go. Six of Pentacles. So, as I'm looking at these cards that I've pulled a bit down, it's like 566. I don't know, that might relate to somebody. Again, as these light codes, angel numbers come through, I just share them as they go. But with the Six of Pentacles, I think this is a perfect card to close out the reading. Six of Pentacles speaks to how we give and receive. The Pentacles are, of course, speaking about time, money, our energy, perhaps something to do with career, something to do with home as well. But ultimately, things that are earthly, if you want to look at it that way. And there's an evaluation of, how am I going to spend my energy now? I feel like whoever's listening to this reading, something might have just clicked in your head, like, oh my goodness, I've just received this information. How am I going to apply it? And it reminds me of what I mentioned earlier about, my cousin asking me for a reading. If you're going to listen to this reading as perhaps the cross watcher or this person who's opposite to the collective, are you thinking to yourself like, wow, okay, I've just received this information. How do I integrate it? How do I, evaluate how I'm actually spending my time, money, energy, or what shifts do I need to make in my home, in my career, in my routine, so that I am better serving myself? I think this is also a call to direct energy towards yourself again. Yesterday's reading is definitely coming through a little bit right now about how in the center of that reading, we saw the King of Pentacles, and it's like your greatest riches, your greatest abundance will come from you evaluating how you are actually, spending your time and your energy. So from Six of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles, I believe there's a great opportunity. It's like a vast expanse that is now being opened up to you. It's like a blank canvas, and you get to paint whatever picture you want. If life was a game and you could create your character, what is their height? What is their abilities? How are they dressed? You can ultimately build this new version of yourself if you're willing to do that. But it is going to take time. It is going to take an investment and a change, of course. So there's definitely an evaluation energy, to look at how are you giving, how are you receiving. And what I like to think of is what we appreciate appreciates. So that's ultimately speaking to, where focus goes, energy flows. You are definitely needing to see things from a different perspective and invest or put time, energy into those things that are actually going to bring elevation and expansion into your life. Wow. Spirit, yo. Wow. Wow. Yo, man, that felt like somebody needed to hear that. 11:11 on my timer right now. So, well, not the timer, that's the actual time. So, yes, do have a beautiful day, team. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Love and light as always. And let's continue on the journey within. Thank you for joining me. Please do like, share, subscribe, do all those beautiful things. You know what I mean? Drop that sauce for the boy one time. Much love and catch you next time. Peace, gang.